So, ending today, June 8th, 2020, the Dow stopped at 27,572 points. So, basically, I guess anybody who's following my community posting feed knows that I have an experimental trading account where I bought a couple of shares, some of which I told you about, some of which I may have already had. And basically, it was my coronavirus apocalypse mini portfolio, because I did a couple. See, the thing about it is some people think that when they bet on stocks that they should pour all their money into one thing. Like, let's say that they had like $10,000, they put it all into like Microsoft. It's always a bad idea. You should always spread your money around. It's called diversifying. They actually have a word for it. So over the last since March or late February, I've been basically recommending airlines, big banks, big oil, and a couple of biopharmaceuticals. So I'm not going to make this a very long video. I just wanted to talk about the things that were up today. Now, before I get started, what I would like to say is that the Dow is up specifically because the investment in the futures has been really, really high, especially after hours. What you have to understand is that, and specifically because today is June 8th, the quarantines are supposedly starting to open up. I got emails from my banks that were saying that they were opening up their lobbies, and that I got a couple other emails from some stores saying that they were going back to non-appointment visits where you could actually come in on your own and you didn't need an appointment. So that means the quarantine's starting to open up, and suddenly what you're seeing is all those American shoppers who are desperate to get back to their regular life of shopping. They're going out right now. You hear these goddamn fart cans? Jesus Christ. I'm up here trying to talk on the thing, and I got these people tuning up these shitty little cars and trying to make them sound loud. It's just ridiculous. So anyway, there's going to be a massive rush of Americans to do shopping, and they want to shop. And they're going to buy in a flurry like you ain't never seen before. Now, granted, there's about supposedly 40 million people who've claimed unemployment. Granted, there's record numbers of credit cards that haven't been paid. Granted, the credit card companies are starting to cut back on credit. Granted, home equity lines of credit on homes have been cut back. Granted, there is a level of turmoil in the market, especially for renters and mortgages. But you got to kind of look past that. The reality is that the whole rest of the country, they're going to end up spending again. It's going to be slow to start, but my belief is it's very possible that so long as we don't have anything crazy happen, we could end up at Dow 30,000. And that's just a possibility. But I really believe that could happen, because if you really think, before coronavirus, we were basically headed to Dow 30,000. And then coronavirus started in China, and then Tesla cut back, and then all of a sudden you started seeing the effects everywhere else. So anyway, what I'll say is this, like a real quick breeze. CTIC, from the point where I told you to buy it when it was like less than 90 cents, CTIC, as you can see, is up. My blows off had hit a high a couple of years ago of 296 or something, and then it came back down, but they're still in their trials and whatnot, so I still have belief in it. But then again, I bought it at 15 cents, so I'm not really worried because I'm still up. Sanofi is still at $50. It's been gaining very, very slowly. They're the company behind hydroxychloroquine. Gilead dropped from its high of 80. I don't know if it's going back up, but they're working on that remdesivir. Ford is up. They are an automotive company. I realized back in the bailout of 2008 that automotive companies, the government can't allow them to really fail. Chrysler was bankrupt, but it was bought by Fiat. So the government actually had manipulated the purchase of that company. They don't want the factories failing, because as you see in, times of trouble, we can always turn to the factories to, manufacture PPE equipment or whatever we may need. GM, I told you to get it at 22. GM is at $30 a share. So for every single share that you bought, you're up, $8. Tesla's at $9.49. So it looks like I'm about to cash out a Tesla. GE, I told you to buy it when it was at its low. They sold off their lighting division, and now they're up $8.46 from $5. Apple's right where they're usually going to be, above $300. But Apple, it's very possible Apple could eventually hit $1,000. So, most people they were calling Apple a sell back when coronavirus was really hurting us. Thing about it is Apple is for long-term wealthy investors who can actually afford those prices. Google, 1,446, not bad. Alibaba, I got in at $80. It's up to $219, very nice. Amazon is at 2,500. I don't know how high Amazon's going to go because, see, the thing about it is Bezos loves the quarantine. As long as there's quarantine, everything's getting delivered by Amazon. Once we get out of quarantine, I think Amazon stock's going to end up falling a little bit. Facebook, 231. We got in like around $60, $70. Bitcoin, still a joke. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, all that halving and all that big talk. I still got people trolling me and writing comments to me. I might post one of them. It's not worth reading because it's all toilet paper. But anyway, Bitcoin is still below $10,000. I'm waiting for this super halving that's supposed to send it to the moon. 100,000, a million per Bitcoin. Yeah. The sad thing is these people are really convinced that just because the government's printing money, that cryptocurrency is going to skyrocket, and they just don't seem to get it. That's not how this works. Anyway, GoPro is up $5. Twitter's up. Anything else major? NBR, which I had told you about, NBR is trading extremely high. Where's NBR? I still got people thanking me for getting them into NBR. NBR, right? And NBR has a high of $170, but for the last 3 months, look at that return that you got from me telling you to get into NBR. How about that? That's some serious returns, huh? If I don't sound very, very excited, it's because I'm a little bit exhausted after a very long day. So, calmness, in the storm and all that. Okay, so Fiat Chrysler, I told you to get it when it was like $6 or $7. Well, they're up to $10.77. I don't know how much higher they're going to go, but hey, keep going. Okay, so these marijuana stocks, medicinal marijuana, it's up from where I bought it. I was hoping it would be performing a little bit better, but right now, I think in time, I know its subsidiaries are making moves, and I know they just got a new CEO. If medical marijuana goes to $1,000, I'll have made $10,000 off of medical marijuana alone. So if medical marijuana just goes up to $1, my experimental account will have pulled $10,000 out of just that one trade. So that's whenever you see these stocks, as they're penny stocks, right? And they look like they have some things going on, like they're in trials and everything. What does it really hurt for you to buy 10,000 shares of these things? I mean, when I got this, it was way down here below 1 penny. I sat next to my bed and I counted out, what was it? $95 in quarters, because eventually I'm going to take those quarters to the bank and I'm going to have them changed into dollars into the account, so this way I could do more investing because I saved my quarters. And I could have just taken all that $95, poured it right into penny stocks, and I'd be up on everything I'd put it into. So I mean, don't be worried about penny stocks, especially if they're behind companies that seem to be making moves. Always buy what you know. Let's see. Walmart is coming down a little bit. It was a little bit higher. No big deal. Let's see. Anything else major here? All of the airlines. I was telling people about these airlines. I made the whole video. I stole this picture of the airplane with the coronavirus mask on. I was telling everybody, oh God, y'all got to get into these airlines. You got to get into these airlines. Warren Buffett started pulling out. He's got everybody scared, and they pulled out, and it dipped a little bit. I got the trolls jumping on my back, making fun of me. Ha, 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 stupid. Yeah, you're so stupid. You told everybody you were making bull runs on the airlines. You're so stupid. You should stay out of politics and stocks because it's not your forte. Well, I told everybody to buy Boeing when that shit was like $125 or less, and right now it's up to $230. So what you got to say? Okay, so that's Boeing. And Delta, I was telling everybody to get in as soon as it dipped below the $20 mark, or even buy in at 22, because I told them it was still going up. But I wanted you to get in under $20. Guess what? It's $36 now. And that's what? 2 weeks later. So what you got to say there? And then there's American Airlines. I said, hey, get this. As soon as it goes below $10, put some money in. Just take $1,000. Get $1,000. Borrow $1,000. Whatever you got to do, get... yeah, well, hey, it's at $20.31, and their planes ain't even flying yet. And then, what is this, United Airlines? I kept saying United Airlines. Get yourself United Airlines. Have you seen the highs on United Airlines? I kept saying it. United Airlines, man, that stock could go to $100 again, because that's where it basically was before coronavirus. Well, it's at $48, and it came from a low within the last week. It was at, 29? And I think within this month, it dipped a little bit further. Yeah, that damn shit was down to $18. Well, hope you got some. Spirit Airlines, they came way down. This month, they were at $8. Now look at them, $25. I can't, I tell you, some of my trades are so good. It's like they should just fire Jim Cramer, and they should just hire me based on absolutely nothing except my trades. Okay, Gulfport Energy, I was kind of careful about this one. I didn't want to go as deep into this one because the problem was over a long period of time, these people watched their money basically disappear all the way from 45. So me personally, even before coronavirus, they really weren't doing that great, so I wasn't too comfortable with them. So if you bet on it, good for you. But me personally, I didn't go long on that one. I got it when it was pennies, but I wasn't willing to put more money into it. If I'd put more money into it, I would have made a little bit more, but I made more money elsewhere. Now, as for the cruise lines, Carnival and Royal Caribbean, I told you about when they were like $12, when they were really hurting back when everybody was afraid to go outside. And then I also told you about this one penny stock. I don't know how many of you got into this one, Royal Olympic Cruise Lines. Well, guess what? If you did get into it, when I originally told you, you would have gotten into it when it was 0.004, because that's when I got into it. Right around here. What is that, about 3 months ago? Well, guess what? Right now it's at 0.030. So I know I made like $400 at least off of the 10,000 shares that I bought. If it goes to even $1, I'll have made $10,000 right then and there. Minus the 100 and whatever dollars I spent or whatever. But, I'll basically be above like $9,000. And then there's taxes and whatever. Not really worried about it. I got to set up stop losses on my computer in a little while. Resonant, I told you, Sprint and Resonant specifically, one of my friends asked me about 5G stocks. I put him on to that one. These were really surprising to me, and these have made me very, very happy every time I look at my portfolios. SM and Silica. The reason why I wanted people to buy those was because those actually pay dividends if you hold them for a long time. Thing about it is they came up from $1.40 and like $1.75, and right now they're trading. One is trading at 3 times where I told you to buy in, and the other one's trading at double at what I told you to buy in. So good for me. TTI is going to. You got to remember, with all of these oil stocks, the economy has not fully opened up yet. Once we get back in our cars, once we get back in those airplanes constituting 36% of crude oil use because it's like kerosene A1 jet fuel. Once we get back flying, all of these oil stocks, all of them, they're going up, period. I don't know if they'll hit their highs. They may even surpass their highs, but they're going back up. As soon as they get near their highs, I'm just selling them. All right. The big banks. I told you to get JP Morgan near its low. Citibank. I explained my entire philosophy about buying these banks. If you're a person who wants to invest long-term in stocks so that you can reap dividends, like let's say you're the type of person that every year you want to put let's say $5,000 into the stock market and that's it. You take that $5,000, split it up amongst the big banks. Now, if you want to dump it all into just 2 or 3, you could do that, or you could just take each $1,000. You can split up between each of these banks. These banks ain't going nowhere. These banks are going to have Americans so knee-deep in credit card debt, and they're going to be so profitable putting all of you and your children into credit card debt, and then what they're going to do is they're going to buy up your mortgages from those third-party fly-by-night lenders, and then all of your children who have their student loans. Nobody's ever going to be able to pay off them student loans. They're going to put your children and you into debt for the rest of your natural lives. 30-year fixed mortgages means exactly 30 years. The average one of us only lives about 60 years. Some of us may make it to 90, but 30 years is a long goddamn time. They buy your mortgages, and then you'll be paying them. Your kids' mortgage will be refinanced somehow, and you'll be paying them. Your kids will be paying them. You're going to be a slave to these banks one way or another for a long time, for the rest of your natural lives. Might as well get something out of it. Invest in the banks, get some dividends. That's all I can really say right there. Wells Fargo, Bank of America, I'm up on all of them. I was telling, I'm Investors Bank Corp, which is the bank that I took you to in my videos, Investors Bank, ISBC. They're doing better than when I purchased them, but I want to see them get back to their highs. I want to see them get near $12 or whatever it was. That's what I want to see, because I think their high was 15. I want to see them surpass $12, and after that, we'll see what happens, but I already collected dividends from them. And the last couple of things, tech stocks, EA, NVIDIA, AMD, Logitech. Somebody told me about this one, Seacore Marine Holdings. This is another one of those oil stocks. He bought it and told me about it when it was like $3 or something, but it's like $4.79 right now. So it actually, I believe it closed up. So yeah, it's up like $1.40. But from where he told me about it, I have to look over their balance sheets, and I'll have to research them a little bit more before I can possibly get into them. But these are the stock picks right here. These are the stock picks that I've got. And I'm going to eventually start selling stuff off, especially Tesla, because Elon Musk, it's like I can't take him and his bullshit no more. It's like I'm going to let these investors push this to just 1,000, and then my auto sell kicks in. So Tesla just hit a record closing price, $9.49 from its, from back in, what was this? Last high was, what is this? Where is it? 6 months. Yeah, so we're just a little bit higher than we were before. My guess is that before the end of this week, Tesla's going to 1,000. And as soon as it does, as soon as you hear Tesla hits 1,000, I want you to think in the back of your mind, Big Truck sold all the stocks. Because at this point, it's out of my hands. I have a sell order and it's just waiting. I don't want to stick with the company. I want out. I just want out. That's all. So as soon as you see it hit 1,000, you'll know that I just made. As soon as it hits 1,000, the computer just does its magic, says, hey, guess what, sell, and that's it, and it's gone. And $50,000 or more after taxes I'm made from just Tesla, and I'm exhausted when I think about it. So yeah, I'm gonna take that and just stick it right in the bank, and that's that, and I'm out. And at that point, I can go back, after I sell their stock, I can go back to criticizing their horrible, flat, bland interiors, because it's not my policy to criticize a company if I own stock in it, or at least I try to tone the criticism down. So that's that. That's just where we are. So that's June 8th. We have ended on a very up day. I don't know how much you make in a week, but let me show you what my week was like. So there you go. I'm up $1,280 for just today. So this is what the week in one of my accounts looks like. This is my experimental account, because I always split up my money so that this way it's never all in the same place at once, because this way it's harder for you to get wiped out. 529, I was trading below, what is that? I think right below 9,000, right? So that was 529, and up, and up, and up, and up, and then booyah. And this is where we are right now. And this coincides with the Dow being at 27,500 points. So basically, looking down here, the S&P 500 was up 38.46 points. The Dow Jones was up 461 points in just today. And the NASDAQ was up 9,000. It's up to 9,924, and it was up 110 points. So we're doing pretty good. So this, basically, all I can say is, it's like, personally, even though I knew when coronavirus started and I saw what it did to the stock market. I think all of us should learn a lesson from this. If we ever have a terrorist attack, or if we ever have something major that happens and it causes the stock market to plunge dramatically, what you should do immediately is start trading. And when I say start trading, you look at the biggest powerful companies, the banks and whatever, and you buy them. And the thing about it is, once consumer confidence comes back, that's when you get up. And that's just how this stock market works. So right now, I'm going to start setting some stop loss things just in case, because I'm hoping that the market keeps going up. I always set a stop loss to make sure that just in case, we have some kind of major market plunge, that I sell off immediately without running the risk of being cleaned out by that, by the stop, with the stop loss. I don't want to be cleaned out all at once. So if I see $1,000 worth of gain, I want to keep the bulk of that, or whatever I can keep, just in case the market were to some reason turn around. Because the problem is, a lot of people are saying that because there's so many people who are out of work, and there's so many people who are defaulting on payments and this, that, and other, they're thinking that we're going to end up in another market plunge. That very well may happen, but I'm going to walk away with the lion's share of my profit before it does, and I'm determined to do that. What is a stop loss? Well, basically, in my TD Ameritrade, they call it a trigger. And a trigger, it basically says, okay, whenever this condition is met, this is what I want you to do. So it'll say, what do you want? So let's say I type in IMTV, right? That's one of the stocks I have. And the criteria is, I want you to, let's say I want you, if the price drops to, let's say if the last price is greater than or equal to, but I want to say if the last price is less than or equal to some amount, like let's say I say, okay, if it drops to $1, then it says, what do you do next? Perform this action. Submit a stock order? No, I want you to do something. I don't know. I want you to submit a stock order. And then what I want you to do is I want you to sell. And I have 50,000 shares of it. So let's say I want to sell, I don't know, 10,000 shares. And then I say IMTV, right? And then it says, well, what kind of order type do you want? Well, I want that to be a market order. And how long do I want it done? Okay, in that day. And that's that. And then it'll say, well, where do you want this email to be sent to? And that's it. That's how you set it. So, like, for instance, to walk you through that again, let's say I want this Tesla stock. Let's say I want Tesla symbol lookup. If I want Tesla's common stock, right? TSLA. And if it hits, the last price is less than or equal to, or I could say greater than or equal to, let's say $1,000. If it's at $1,000, then I want you to submit a stock order to sell all of my Tesla. And then it'll send you an email and it'll ask you, this order has been submitted based on your trigger. So triggers are really good because this way you don't have to pay close attention to what's happening. So like, as you can see, that's Tesla right there. As soon as Tesla hits 1,000, I'm selling and I'm just out. I bought in at $30, and at this point I'm sick and tired of the bullshit. So I just went out, and that's that. So I'd say going from $30 to $1,000 a share on all of my shares, I'd say that's a pretty damn good thing, isn't it? But that's basically how you do it. It's not complicated. They also have instructions if you have a trading platform, and it tells you how to do it. So all you have to do is just study that, and it'll explain it easily to you.